Gotcha. Is there anybody that you wanted to interview in regards to the Tupac story or incident in Vegas that you haven't been able to get? Like, I know everybody wants to get Trayvon. He's hard to get.
Me and Trayvon have talked.
Yeah.
We've had multiple conversations about it. It may happen at one point.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, it might.
Yeah.
It might. I mean, he's not against it. It's just that, a lot of times when you have, look, I've been doing it for 15 years. So I've had conversations that have spanned 5 years, sometimes 10 years. Like, you talk to people and they want to do it, but there'd be like, yeah, but I'm talking to this guy who's going to get me this big, huge Netflix deal, and he's telling me to hold off. Like White Boy Rick is an example of this. Like, me and White Boy Rick have talked for the last couple of years, but he's got a deal on the table. There's a lawsuit that he's doing, against the police department. So, so sometimes there's like certain things that prevent them from doing it right now. So you just kind of sit back and you wait. And things may happen. Trayvon would be a good piece. Obviously Suge, if he ever spoke about it, which I don't think he will, or if he does speak about it, I think it's going to be something that he is going to control himself. But I doubt, Suge is just going to do an interview with someone and tell him like all the details of what happened. Yeah. Especially while he's in jail. Maybe when he's getting close to passing away, and maybe he just wants the story out there. Who knows? Yeah. Me personally, I don't really do, I don't plan on doing any Suge Knight interviews just because of all the negative shit that seems to come around from association with Suge. So I've always just kept my distance from him. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I mean, there's really not too many people left to interview around it, right?
Trayvon's like the biggest
Trayvon's
one.
probably the only one. Well, Trayvon and Suge.
Yeah.
Because I've done, Mob James, I've done Edie, who was in the car behind him, I've done the first responders. I mean, there's really nobody else. Yeah. Apart from, I think like Neckbone, maybe.
Yeah. But I think he stays quiet.
He stays quiet.
He's still alive,
yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's not a lot of people left, so not really. Yeah. And I think like with Trayvon's role, it's like Trayvon, I mean, was involved in the fight, of course. Yep. And he was there at the MGM, but like, we kind of know that story already. Yeah.
Well,
you see what I'm saying?
I think there's a lot of misinformation out there about, like, did he whisper in Tupac? That was the big thing for years. Like, he went and whispered over to Tupac, and then Tupac went towards Orlando to where he could clear that up,
Yeah, but to Trayvon's defense, I mean, isn't that what you're supposed to do? Like, aren't you, like, if you see someone in your vicinity, if you're with a group of people and you see a potential enemy in your vicinity that's an enemy of everyone around you, because it was a death row thing, right? It was like a South Side versus death row thing. Yeah. Wouldn't you let everyone know, like, hey, like that guy over there, I've got into an altercation with him about death row. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's like, hey, Pac, go jump on that guy by yourself. Yeah. I've never heard that before. Yeah. So it's like the conversation I've had with him, I've said, I'm like, what you did, I'm in full support of. Yeah. I would do the same thing. Yeah. If I knew, and I'm not security, you know what I'm saying? Like Trayvon wasn't security. No. It's not like he was expected to handle himself. He didn't, I doubt he told Tupac to go handle it. Tupac, but that's just Pac, right? He would take it upon himself to just beeline for whatever the fuck is happening. I don't think Tupac told, I don't think anyone told Tupac to shoot those 2 cops in Atlanta. Yeah. I think that was Pac's own idea. Right. So he has a history of this type of behavior. So the way things played out was unexpected but expected at the same time. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that Trayvon ever thought 3-4 steps ahead. Oh, okay, listen, I shouldn't say something because if I do say something, then Pac is going to go attack him, and then Pac will get killed later that night. Like, you know what I mean? Like who would think that? Who would plan that out in the heat of a situation? Yeah. So yeah, shout out to Trayvon, man. We may do the interview at one point or we may not, but I think a lot of the story is out there. Yeah,
and I've talked to him for like 10 years, and he's always been adamant with me that he was talking to his the people in his group. He wasn't talking, that Tupac overheard it more or less and just took off.
Yeah, exactly. Which like I said, makes sense. Mm-hmm. You would want the people around you to know that there's someone in the vicinity that's potentially a danger. Right. because they've proven to be a danger in the past, right? So, yeah, man, I think it was one of those very unfortunate events. Dealing with a hothead kid in his 20s who, you know, was very emotional, was very much trying to prove something. You know, he had MOB tattooed on his arm, so he was sort of embracing this whole blood, mob Piru, Suge Knight, death row, you know, mafia kind of persona. And Suge was there to back all that up. Like, you know, I mean, I remember with all the negative stuff that people have always said about Suge, I think one of the realest interviews I heard was with Shock G, you know, in this one documentary where he said, I'll tell you one thing, Suge held Pac down the way he always wanted to be held down. And I think Pac really, really liked being with Suge and under Suge in that regard of having this army of dudes that would just be like ready to do whatever, but he was like the star and he was protected and so forth. But, you know, things ended in the worst possible way. It was like a perfect storm of bad events.
Yeah. Yeah.